And Mr. Chairman, you are live on YouTube.
Okay. So we have well, Sue, first of all, we'll go ahead and, do we need to take roll on this? I don't think so. So we've got this list. Is there, we've got a few people here today. Does anybody want to talk to us about if they've submitted a proposed topic or something else they want to, anything else they want to submit? Does anybody want to talk to us before we kind of start down through this list? They want to highlight something? I was going to wait for you to take a bigger bite and then ask you to come up. So,
Mr. Chairman, Erin Taylor, representing the Wyoming Association of Community College Trustees. I don't know if you have anything in your packet. I know it got in Joint Education's packet with the whole idea of continuing the conversation about funding for the community colleges, sustainable funding, what that looks like. You know the story, you know the select committee that we had a couple of years ago. The result was a bill to create another community college, and then we had no action actually concentrating on the task of the committee. The Joint Education Committee did take up some issues last year and had a nice comprehensive review of those sorts of topics. But I think it's just a good idea to talk to this committee as well, and then you guys decide if where the right place is, if it's in that Joint Education Committee or in this committee, or maybe a combination thereof. So I thought I would just bring that to your attention and be here to answer any questions.
okay. Thank you. Any questions for Erin? I'm looking through here and I'm not seeing the one was submitted to this committee. Did you guys submit one?
Chairman, is it on again? I thought I had it submitted in here, but I don't know for sure if it got in here. So I know for sure, because we had the conversation today in education, that it did make it in there.
Okay.
So my apologies if it didn't make it in.
All right. Thank you. We'll keep that on the list for discussion. Anybody have any questions for Erin? All right. Does anybody else want to visit with us about any particular topics? Anyone else? Anyone else want to visit with us about topics? Okay. Then we'll just go down through here. I mean, folks, I think we'll just do down through this really quick on our list. Representative Henderson. And if you're interested in talking more about these things, just let us know. Let me know and we'll visit some more. So we have Representative Henderson. He wants to look at Wyoming State and UW employees, wants to look at compensation, and he wants to look at COLAs and the root cause of what he believes is the root cause of underpayments and comparisons with other states on how they use COLAs in their compensation plans. Got one from Representative Chairman Nicholas.
Chairman?
Wants to look at EGI reserves. Something we did, the kind of
Mr.
come in
Chairman?
the interim, we talked about that. Go ahead, Senator.
Oh, just a comment. It looks like Representative Henderson's topic kind of relates a bit to one I see farther down from Representative Connolly. Just for throwing it up. It's another, there's two of them.
Okay,
Throw it out. Combo.
so EGI reserves, I think we understand that. We had some discussion about that during our committee hearings. Senator Hicks, state loan program. Senator Hicks, what did you have in mind? Anything you want to amplify on that? Do you remember? Oh, okay. I waited until you took a break. I'm just good at that. I didn't have to look. I could just sense when people have their mouth full. We'll go ahead. Chairman Nicholas wants to look at K-12 state building condition and capacity. Another one. Go ahead, Senator.
specifically what I'd like to look at that, we have a number of state agencies that through different programs give loans out. Just want to, especially if we're seeing a change in inflation, interest rates, that we would go back and look at all of those agencies' loan programs and try to get some consistency. Been my experience over the years that a lot of times, whether it's MRGs or safe drinking water or water development, there's different loan terms on those. And so it creates a loan shopping environment. And particularly as we start to see substantial changes in Fed funds rate as far as interest rates and inflation, just to look at those and try to make sure that we're uniform across all those programs.
Okay, so you're looking, just look at, I mean, there's at least probably a dozen of them, I bet. Just look at those. Did you have any interest in looking at that? Do you have any interest in looking at those loan programs that are loans out of the corpus of the?
Mr. Chairman, I would like to look at those public purpose investments, and I think the important thing there would be is to look at what's authorized and what's actually being used. And because that differential is substantial in some of those, and maybe reducing our investment returns associated with that. That would be the second part. I didn't know if that was something that we would do in CapFin typically, or whether we would do that in appropriations.
Okay. Thanks. And Chairman Nicholas had K-12 state building condition and capacity. To study upcoming capital construction needs and available funding sources for major maintenance. You know, that would be interesting, except I wouldn't want to do that without, I'd want to have, if we did that, I'd want to do a joint meeting with select committee on that. I wouldn't just launch on that ourselves. Also, looking also another one he was interested in was investments on structure. So we've got that. That's probably a captain topic. Also expenditure of funds by the executive branch for compensation revision, which kind of, that's a follow-up, huh? That's like 4 now. I think this is getting a bigger and bigger deal. Representative Walters also wanted to look at state capital construction account funding flows, which is similar to what Chairman Nicholas was talking about. And I guess I wanted to talk about that too. Yeah, Senator Hutchings, who was here a minute ago. Senator Hutchings is looking for some horsepower to look at Pharmacy Benefit Managers Act enhancements. And you want about reviewing the assumptions in the bill, which caused a lot of consternation, I think, on both floors. Also look at Representatives Washington, Harshman, and Gray want us to look at fire pensions, fire and police pensions without Social Security. That's interesting. You know, it's an interesting topic that people want to talk about COLAs and plans that don't fund COLAs, but have not, weren't designed to fund COLAs. That's okay. And we had Representative Connolly. Another employee compensation review. Chairman Nicholas, ETS organization review, cybersecurity and grant authority. That actually sounds fun. Probably something we ought to know about. It sure affects appropriations on these systems these days. Representative Simpson, again, retention and recruitment of Fire Patrol, so another more state employee, and then Senator Steinmetz on following up on the footnote in the reports bill. Okay. So anything else that I know we didn't have a lot of time. Sometimes it seemed like we didn't have time to take a breath the first 2.5, 3 weeks of the session. But so is there anything else that comes to mind? Anything else that you want to visit about, or things, or talk about any of these subjects, ones that you'd like forward tomorrow when we go visit with our counterparts down the hall.
Are we gonna go through an interim topics with CAP one too?
Yes, we're actually, I think we're doing that tomorrow morning at 9.
Okay. All I needed to know.
Okay, yeah. And so anything else?
Well, Mr. Chairman, I would assume that that discussion with CAP then was a continuation of House Joint Resolution 5 and 6. And I would hope that, and I don't know if this is the appropriation side or the CAP, assuming it would be CAP then that would look at that. I think we need to see how, we've had some discussions about how we incorporate the reserve accounts in there, and what it takes to remove the contribution. And look at the back end structure
Yeah.
side of how we would do that.
Yeah, I think we see what we can do to streamline and modernize that without a constitutional amendment. We just take a harder look at that. So here we go.
But that would be a CAP 10 project.
I think so.
All right.
Anything else? So out of the ones we've talked about, any ones that you want to particularly advance forward, you just want to have the discussion with our counterparts and kind of decide collectively.
The only thing that really rang my bell was
It's nice to know that your bell is wrong.
all right, let me see.
I'm glad.
Flipped my switch.
I've been worried about you.
Yeah,
You've been
flipped my switch.
You've been
Focused.
focused on, I can't even focus. What do you call it? Redistricting.
Oh, yeah.
You just, it's, you know,
I have a whole new appreciation for what people on that committee went
but
through.
you have, your hair is much grayer than when you started just 2 days ago. So, okay. Well, I don't want to drag out our meeting if we're done visiting.
They seem to fall into, I mean, they do seem to fall into about 3 or 4 areas outside of
Yeah.
that ETS conversation.
ETS,
compensation.
employment compensation. And then I think, we'll see. I think, I'm assuming you guys, well, I don't know, maybe just ask. So we've got 2 members, I guess, of management council.
On me,
Now,
I'm gone.
that's why we used to have 3. Now we only have 2.
Actually, don't we only have one because Dave's off?
Yeah.
It's only
Oh.
Larry.
It's Larry.
Only Larry. So, I mean,
His naked grip.
what is management council? Have you guys talked about pharmacy benefit managers or any particular things you want us to look at? You haven't yet? Oh, that's- okay. I think that the pharmacy benefits manager, I just don't think we got all the information on that. But I'd rather see, I'd like, it's really, I think, more appropriate for corporations and probably like just to take a look at it. Well, and I think just looking at the people that you need some horsepower. You need some additional horsepower, but there's ways management council can do that without. So if they could do it, I mean, they could do joint labor and health and corporations, something like that. They just need, I think, labor and health. They worked on it all summer and I think they didn't get all the information they needed.
I think that's a recommendation.
So,
PBMs and corporations.
Yeah.
I agree with you. I think it needs to be looked at this point. Labor and health looked at it. Structural corporate governance issue than it is. That's the
Yeah, I would disagree. And so, anyway, anything else? Okay, anything else? So, all right. I don't have any burning hole issues other than a couple things that came up during our hearings. And most of those kind of, I think, are covered in what we've got here. We'll see what else the committee brings.
I'm still just basking in the glow of getting the budget.
Isn't it nice? I mean, we're not going to be here till 12 o'clock on the last day of the legislature trying to sort out the budget. What's that?